I just tried to.
Cool. So welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to today's podcast episode, which is a interview with our incredible and beautiful Dr. Tabs Malik. So thank you so much, Tabs, for coming on. Again, since so many testimonies from me, I'm super grateful. So if you've got any questions, thank you so much. So if you've got any questions, just message them down below. I will also come back to the recording, come back to any questions. You can also DM me, and Tabs at the end, if you're happy, then you can put your details on how people can message you, maybe from the themes that we're going to be discussing today as well. So today I have entitled this podcast episode Healing, Leadership and Legacy. Mothers' journeys through entrepreneurship and personal growth, and also an incredible, strong warrior mom's journey through autism and self-discovery. So I would like to introduce Tabs. This is beautiful, inspiring woman. She's a devoted mother. She's an incredible doctor. We went to medical school together as well, which was so wonderful. We did do some studying as well, and lots of fun as well. And an incredible member of our community as well, both the warrior leaders. I'm also grateful to know her wonderful husband, who's like a brother to me and always supported me and like, good, it's so sweet. And so I'm really grateful to know your beautiful family.
Always.
This conversation, okay, is for every parent, every professional, whatever gender you are, just whether you felt kind of stretched between caregiving, career, self, spirituality, and just to take you from fear that we've experienced through to the other side of freedom, and kind of tools that we've developed over time, as well as will lead into legacy leaders, self-membership sort of at the end, if that resonates. So Tabs, I will just ask you to introduce yourself as well, if that's okay.
Of course. Vidya, you've already introduced me so well. I don't know what else I could add on top of that. But yes, Vidya and I were very, very good friends at medical school, and we've literally supported each other and followed each other through our journeys. And she has been there in my darkest times. And actually where I am now is definitely she has played a huge role in actually developing me into this warrior mom, like she says. So I'm just incredibly proud of the woman she is, and also incredibly proud of myself too, for having listened to her. But apart from that, where do you want me to begin with?
So I'd love you to start actually with just sharing a little bit about your, so I'm looking at my show notes here, sharing a little bit of your journey as mum, but also as doctor, and maybe just when we started, I guess, working together in this capacity, because we also worked together in Homerton as well, good old Homerton Hospital. But when we worked together in this capacity, and it was COVID, it was just everything going on. And I'd love to start there.
So even before working together and me starting on the program during the COVID periods, it was just before the COVID period when I developed when I had this extreme life-changing event, which was my facial paralysis. And I went through a very, very dark time where I felt completely lost. I had 3 months left of this GP training that I was doing, that I worked extremely hard for. At the time, I was married for about 3 years, and I had an 18-month-old daughter. And I completely, my life changed when I ended up with this severe facial paralysis, which left me really unwell for about 2 years. Now, on and off, Vidya used to call me, and I remember that she had started on this journey herself, being her warrior woman and, starting her legacy. And I used to watch all this, and I used to be like, I couldn't possibly do what Vidya's doing. And I used to look at her in awe, and I used to follow and support, always following and supporting, but never thinking that I could do something like this. And Vidya actually reached out to me, and she wanted to know, Tabs, what's going on, what's happening. So throughout, she's been there, like a supportive friend, like a supportive sister. And during that hardest time, she introduced me to visualization, to all these new phenomena that I was just like, what is this? I've never visualized in my life. And she's like, tap into your energy, your subconscious. And I remember when her first book came out, and I was like, wow. And I really started reading that. I remember we used to be awake at the same time during the night, because she was a new mummy as well. And how she would be so organized in terms of, she's got her son's baby timings, sleep times arranged, and she was working in between, but yet she was also starting to have this plant-based diet and starting her life in this spirituality. And I was like, will I ever be able to do this? What am I doing with my life? What's going on? I'm a mom too, but I'm in the darkest stage of my life. I don't even know this. For me, like when I ended up with facial paralysis, the spirituality, the motherhood, the being the wife, the being the daughter, everything started. I felt like all my life was over just because of one thing that had happened to me physically. It was a huge thing, but it was a huge learning curve. And for Vidya to actually be there and trying to get me to see the light was absolutely amazing. And because of her, I actually completely changed and pivoted and started visualizing and found my area, found my niche where I had this purpose. Because even with general practice, although I had a purpose, I wasn't happy in myself. And I think this is what the universe and God and Allah was actually telling me. So, and that was really important. And then I remember Vidya had her second baby and she was doing exactly the same thing. And I got into her Warrior Heart Legacy Leadership Program, I remember. And, I actually started it properly. And what made me start it properly was because I had made those big decisions about leaving general practice because of the visualization. And it was all very early stages at the time, but now I was getting into something deeper. And I was trying to get my husband into this as well. I was like, come on, we've got to do this. Let's just do this. So, but then, the main thing for me, determination, was that my daughter at the time was watching me. And I needed to show her that, no, mommy has been unwell for about 2 years, but that's just not me. That can't just be my story over, that she just remembers mommy as just lying in the bed in pain crying. No, that's not going to happen. I didn't want that to be my story. So, and this was a big part of it, the program. And this is how, from going from nothing, I have now ended up last year with a CQC registered private clinic where I am an obesity specialist, running my own clinic, helping others in the same position as me with functional medicine, healing their inflammation, healing their energies. But I do a holistic program, and that is all to do, literally, I'm not just saying that, God puts people in your life for a reason, and Vidya was there for me. And she was so proud of me as well. And this is what I love about Vidya. And, because she is a woman's woman, like, she will cheer you on. And that's what we need. Yes, we have our families. Yes, we are moms, but we also need somebody always in our back as well, always supporting us. Listen, how about this, And Vidya has this ability where she will always think outside the box and always be like, okay, come on, let's rein you back in. Let's get your energy back. Let's get you thinking positively. But it's not toxic. It's always realigning myself back to my core beliefs, and that's key. And I have learned along this journey is that as long as I stay true to myself, yes, I am a happy person. I'm a light person, because I know that I am answerable to because I'm a devout Muslim. So I am answerable to my Allah. And for me, that keeps my conscious clear, that keeps my visualization clear, and that keeps my goals clear, especially for my children. Because now I'm at another turning point in my life where my youngest, my son, has severe autism. And I've had to make now, so I was talking about this beautiful clinic that I had and how Vidya supported me through this. And it's a big thing being, starting from scratch and getting your clinic, investing so much. And then I realized that where we were wasn't serving my son in terms of his therapies. He wasn't progressing. In fact, we were all getting really drained as a family. So again, I was praying to Allah, and we found that, where we are at the moment in Emirates is the first certified city in the world for autism. So we didn't, as parents, we didn't think of anything. We literally left everything and have moved without jobs, without anything. But my son has started his therapies, which is unreal. And for us, that was the major goal. I mean, if this was the same person that I was 8 years ago, had I not been with Vidya, I would never have taken that step. And for me to just do that and having that trust in my God and believing in myself that yes, I'm open to everything that's out there for all the benefits that I'm open to receive, because I am a good person and I deserve it too. So that's basically part of it. So thank you, Vidya.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm trying to hold back the tears. Thank you so much. That was incredible.
I always do that to you, Vidya. I always do.
Journey is, I mean, you did it. I mean, I'm grateful. Obviously, I know this is a testimonial interview, but still, I do believe that is, I guess, part of, my divine mission, or whatever you want to call
Absolutely,
it. All the work that we're all doing here, right, is all divine timing, and we're here to do, and it's all, for me, it's all God's work or the divine's work or universe. I do feel that. Absolutely. And then, we're put into in each other's way, in each other's path at that time.
I agree 100%.
And I just think it's beautiful, and it's an honor, I think, for me, with my own things that I was growing through. That's why I like to say
exactly. You were
difficult birth with my first. I mean, thankfully, it all turned out fine. But yeah, I had my own challenges, and it can be very cathartic to give that back as well. It's healing you, but it's actually also healing me, right? In terms of what was it that maybe I needed at that time was just trust. Like sometimes there is like, I have no idea. So I'm literally just choosing faith. It's a decision. I am choosing faith. And sometimes it's an easy decision because it's like, well, there's no other choice. I just have to take this leap of faith.
But Vidya, there was belief in yourself as well, because if you had not had that belief or something clicked, there was no way, the way that you were working at that time to get your life to where it is now, you need to have that credit that it was your determination as well, which is amazing. And that for me was inspiration. So, that was it, literally. So, yeah.
Thank you. It's funny because I remember at the time I was reading, so I was a Bob Proctor coach, and I was in his program thinking just as my own coach, and I was doing all my learning, wondering what am I doing, and it's like my maternity turned into a sabbatical, like what's going on, and I felt so misaligned to just so many different aspects, thinking this is it. And it was interesting, it was just pre-COVID, but I kind of felt like there had to be a change in the way I was doing things. I still do medicine, I still love it, but I knew it just was going to be very different going forward. And I remember reading Think and Grow Rich, and one of the chapters is on persistence. And I remember being like, how do you be persistent? So part of it was like, well, you just do it. You just have to just do it, just be persistent. It was very much around what you were saying, beautifully articulated as always, which was the visualization, right? And that is like on Google Maps, the goal. You need like somewhere to pinpoint it. And then you're just connecting the dots backwards. And so it's not necessarily always easy. Like, I'm not going to lie. I mean, let's be honest, it's not easy, right? But there's still a lot of lots of work in some shape or form, inner work as well as outer work. I mean, you had to put the fire.
Absolutely.
So there's still a lot of work, but it's very different when you're like, you have a direction and you're the captain of your ship. And it's like, okay, well, this is where we're going. And you are then the leader, not just of the Vibe Clinic, but you are of your family or co-leading right?
Absolutely. Co-leading. Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's the compassion, which is,
Yeah.
for me, is that, we have the divine feminine or the divine masculine. It's not gender, it's energy. But we need the strategy, or let's say masculine, or whatever you want to call it, the strategy of like, okay, well, what's the plan? But we also need the compassion for ourselves and our family, and then the courage to actually take the leap. And that is what courage is, right? Like, you are still scared. You are still scared.
Absolutely.
You're choosing to go ahead. You are
Yeah.
choosing. This is what courage is. I'm growing. I told my son the day, how are you going to grow your brave muscle? I mean, you're still going to feel scared, but it's getting bigger. And then you go for it.
You know, I think it was, I watched one of your YouTube videos, and I remember that you need to have that little bit of anxiety, that flight or fright anxiety, in order to move forward. It's always going to be there, because if you are too overconfident as well, yes, having that confidence is amazing, but not arrogance. And that's a big difference. So that's where it is. Having that little bit of fear is completely okay, and it's completely normal. And that's what you used to say to me, that that is normal. That's absolutely normal. When you're about to change, you're going to get that little fear in you.
Yes.
And that's completely okay. So yeah. That's what I'd like to say to all the moms out there, that this is what Vidya used to say, that if you are getting, that little fear that, oh gosh, those butterflies, that's normal. That's when you're about to change. And that's, something bigger is going to take place. So just keep going.
Yes, exactly. But it's like, I don't like to use the word warning signal because it sounds very scary, but when I've got my medical hat on, seeing patients where there's, to be honest, only so much of this conversation I can have that some resonate with.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's in a certain system whereby it has to be a certain conventional way we speak of things.
Yeah.
Whenever we speak of anxiety, there is always something else going on. Often it's just they've got to a point where it's a misalignment with their values, they've changed, and then they're still doing this thing. So it's like the body's way of saying, okay, well, we need to evolve then. So it's actually a good thing. I mean, it's a normal emotion, but it's just when we stay in that, nobody wants that to be their predominant emotion, right? They want to move through that. And then it's different. Then it's more like, okay, well, this is, I can feel it's more of an adrenaline rush. Like I'm still finding out each of the pieces, but I'm moving forward, right? Like you said, you've started the treatment. So you're like, okay, so this is the right decision. We're here, like it's clicking, it's working. So we're on the right path. And then, everything else aligning. And also knowing that with, say, for example, with the Vibe Clinic, just like how it was GP training at one point, it is like growing itself through an evolution, right?
Yeah.
And like interesting ways of like, okay, so how can I offer this to my patients now, whilst this is my family life?
Exactly.
It actually ends up better, right? Because there are other parents
absolutely.
who actually I can't come in person or whatever.
So
whatever.
So your priority, like, with yourself and with me, has always been our family first, our children first, especially with my son. Throughout last year was one of the most challenging years because, again, like I was starting a new baby, my project, which I had really worked hard for. And it was something that it was just mine with the Vibe Clinic. And it's very hard to get a CQC registration, and to do that for the previous year, for our interview, policy making, everything. And then finally it's here. But then, my son had his challenges, and I used to bring him, if I had patients in clinic, I didn't want to lose that reputation, but I would adjust with my patients. Like I would tell them that I was truthful. I was like, listen, I know I'm great, and I can get you from A to B to your goal, which they have, alhamdulillah. But I have my son with me, and if you trust me, then it's going to work. And because it was my space, I had created a little space for my children as well, which I had visualized. In fact, I had told Vidya this when, back in 2019, when I visualized this, and I had no idea that I would ever have my own clinic. And even then I had visualized I would have a son, and, it came to me, and there was no way that I would have known that I was ever going to have a son. So, and all came into fruition this past year. But then to give that up, but I had that trust. I had that trust in Allah that, I'm moving forward. I was scared, and it's still, when I look at the old videos of just from this time last year, there is no way that I would have thought that I'm going to be moving away, leaving everyone behind, and just giving away everything and just moving my life. But I've done that. And, and for some reason, I'm not frightened anymore. I just feel quite free. And I don't know whether that is just because I am in Lulu delusional land or whether it's just literally just trust. It's just the trust that I have in my Allah that, that things are going to happen, but whatever happens for the best. And that for me, you were the main instigator of that, to believe in that. So, yeah.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And, it takes a courageous leader like yourself to implement it and execute, right? Because we can all watch, these beautiful YouTube videos and read the books and the free guides and the reels and all of that. And I do too, right? But it's different to implement, to have the focused attention, which also is a part of trust, right? It's a part of, like, if we don't fully believe in it, we do also might get easily distracted, but also like, no, I trust this will work out. I don't know the how, but I also, when we do have an inspired action plan, right, from the divine, like the blueprint is then like my power, like, okay, this is the blueprint, and now I'm just going to trust and go for it. And also, once you've built it with the CQC and the Vibe Clinic, whether it stays at this name or not that name, or, my coaching programs have changed, so many times. But once you've built it, you have evolved so much internally that you can
absolutely
not given up. It's just
no, I haven't. So I've actually changed it absolutely from the physical back to online. So I'm still able to, but change those programs. So my patients, like I'm talking to you, I'm able to still give them that one-to-one, that love. Which I do. I love all my patients. I know it sounds weird, but it's really true because it's from the heart. Every therapy, everything, it is from the heart. So and we work together. So and so now I've changed it into online, and I don't know when it's going to be physical again, but at least. But the thing is, the patients, from word of mouth, they trust me, and they know that I'm still going to get the results. So that's the way forward. Absolutely. But they work very hard.
When I was on maternity leave, even before COVID, I remember, this is before COVID, right? So online was obviously still there, but was quite the big giant it is now. And I remember craving online, like online coaching, online therapy, online everything, because I was on a mini lockdown with my first one when they were worried.
I remember. Yeah,
it was all fine. So it was even before lockdown, so nobody even knew, like, why is this woman just like staying at home? And I was like, well, I can't do anything then if it's not available online. Or unless, sometimes it's just like by the time you pack up everything, it's like midnight.
Yeah.
It's too late to go out. But, joking aside, it takes a lot of energy to really go and do. And sometimes it's just easier to just be, okay, like it's online and you can log on easily for like a certain amount of time and then be with the kid, or you can put the screen off and breastfeed or
absolutely.
Whatever. So I feel like that is integral, and I think that's part of leadership, knowing that you have these skills now, right? So CQC is going to be called something different in Emirates, and maybe, but I mean, the fundamentals are the same. The fundamentals of service and spiritual service and being a heart-led leader, a warrior heart-led leader, which is what you are the same. And that's the beauty. Is that's, for me, is what that trust is that no matter what, whether it's at home, right, or it's in work, or it's in motherhood, or whatever it is, we're able to then be that captain, be the CEO.
Absolutely.
Really be like, okay, do you know what? We need to turn the ship around. We need to go to a completely different direction. And I trust, right? And yes, I might need to do some deep learning in some other sector here because I'm being called literally in that direction. So, okay, let's do this. This is me honing my craft. Maybe there's a whole cohort of families with autism, especially in our cultures as well, where sometimes
absolutely
craving your courageous and compassionate leadership of like not just Ramsay Hunt syndrome and facial palsy, but with this and how do I navigate and how do I talk to my husband, how do I, right? And they need you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Sometimes we're being called to do it in a different way where it's online, and now you have the in-person, and it's now your brand is actually going global, right?
See, even just on this podcast, she's giving me all this amazing, amazing stuff. And I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, I didn't think of that.
Right? So Ryan's like, come on, we need you to shine your bright lighter. We need you in Dubai, in Emirates. We need you there. I feel like there's no one left in England anyway. But like,
I know, it's true.
Message, I've gone to Dubai. Well, I'm still here. But joking aside, it's like, okay, we need like a vibe clinic branch, and it doesn't matter if it's not that name or you have a different, it's evolving, right? Because you feel called, and also I love the name, high vibe, right? But what I mean is you're being called to like think bigger and but it has to be, this is the foundation, which is family first. So maybe it was a bit shaky. It was like, okay, my patients are understanding and I have this space, but actually this space is getting bigger, or I need something less like temporary and more like this is
permanent,
right?
Yeah.
And it's not it's not like, oh, they don't mind it. It's like, no, this is how I do my leadership, right? And this is it's family first, right? And there are people who to this who won't resonate with it, like us talking about spirituality, talking about, you know, motherhood and kids being at clinics, talking about breastfeeding with the screen off, we're talking about doing 3 a.m. coaching when you're on maternity leave. It won't resonate, and that's okay. And, you know, setting love and light, but it's okay, because then it means that the services that we are creating are not for them, and
for
that's
them.
okay.
Exactly. They're not aligning. So this is what, and it's usually quite, and that's what I've had to learn from you, because for me, I used to take that rejection personally, but then you said, but no, because, you know, your service is not for them, and they are not for you. So that's fine. Just let it be, you know, and love and light, like you always say, love and light to them, and you move forward in your line. So that took a lot, but we worked on that. So
it is. It's not easy, right? And I think I always try to come back to say how, you know, being a doctor, like there are so many, I mean, how many doctors, right? And we can have the same MBBS, but why is it that one patient might want to come to you as a or whichever? It's not necessarily, I mean, yes, I'm sure it's like, you know, amazing medicine, but sometimes it's just that nuance of like relatability, or like she gets it, or whatever it is. And it's not a change in the NICE guidelines. Like the NICE guidelines
no.
It's just the way you're interpreting it, or the way you're applying it, like you said, more holistic.
The way you're communicating to the patient, it's that bond. And I agree, because I say this with regards to my son's teaching assistant. So, you know, the help that we used to get in England had a master's in education psychology, and when we first met her, I instantly just knew that she wasn't aligned with my son. There was something very cold in the energy, and I had mentioned it quite a few times. So they were like, no, but the school said, she's so educated and she's got a master's. And I said, well, you know, I said exactly the same thing like you said, Vidya. Basically, you know, I could have, you know, a doctor could have the most number of degrees, is highly specialized. But if they don't know how to speak to the patient or aren't aligned with the patient, then the patient is always going to feel unfulfilled after they've left the consultation. They'll be like, well, then that was a waste. The doctor didn't really listen to me. So, you know, I would rather have somebody who hears my son and understands, and, you know, and we were right at the end of, you know, because our intuition was so right that we just knew that this person wasn't right. And the school let out slip later that she wasn't trained for that age group for my son. So there was a lot of misalignment there and a lot of trauma caused to my son. So so that's why we just felt, you know, when you start feeling uneasy in a place, that's what started happening before we left. We just felt that this place in every aspect, apart from my vibe, my baby, apart from that, everything else felt really uneasy. And that's why we had to leave. So
absolutely, you did the right thing, and you know, it's how a lot of things came into, like, since we're using NICE guidelines as an example, is from people going outside of the system and trialing things and taking a leap of faith, and then people having such incredible results, you can't not include it in, right? And that then becoming the norm in like 5 years time, 10 years time, etc. And I think to do that as a family takes courage, it takes persistence, it takes determination, it takes using your intuition, resources. And I think he obviously deserves it. Both of your children, Absolutely. They deserve incredible parents, and they deserve it for themselves. But I think at the same time, I just think when you becoming a mom as well, like that is part of the purpose, right?
Absolutely.
Purpose. Not that we're calling for certain things to happen, but at the same time, it's drawing something within.
Absolutely.
That we wouldn't have had that experience. Without it, right? So. Oh, well, thank you so much. I mean, I could go on, and I would love to, but I have a client now. We might have to do another one. But
anytime.
But thank you. But I just wanted to say, just ask if there is any way, if anyone wants to reach out to you about the Vibe Clinic, or also, just about your experience with Ramsay Hunt, with autism, etc. Maybe they also want to look at this therapy.
Yeah. Or my experience with you and your programs, which are amazing.
So how can they reach out to you? What's the best?
So so they can by all means email me on Zip Medical. Sorry, it's a long word, but it's ZZIT and then medical MEDICAL at gmail.com. That's my professional email. But also I have 2 Instagram IDs that I look at very frequently, and I reply to all the messages. So the first one is my facial palsy page, which is at Dr. DOCTOR facial palsy. And then the other one which is my clinic one, and I accept all online appointments. So it's at the.vibe, VIBE .clinic, CLINIC. It's when I come a spelling test today. And then,
yes.
But we also have our website, which is www.thevibeclinic.co.uk. So if anybody wants to leave a message there, they can, and I usually receive that directly onto the Zip Medical Gmail account, and I reply back immediately. So yeah, that's it. But on a side note, apart from me, if there's any mom out there who is, because we've all been in those situations, in those like times where we're like, how am I going to get out of this? I'm just feeling like so drained. So, we've got the baby, but I also want to do something for myself, but, and for my family. If you ever want to do that, it's just, I'm not sure, but I used to watch YouTube videos. There were so many that she had done, and every video that I used to watch, I used to write notes from that, and I used to learn from that. So are they still on video? Because I haven't logged on for ages. This is something that you could even start on, because this would actually, her YouTube videos would actually start building up on something, and then when you are ready, when you're in that headspace, to connect with Vidya.
Yes.
100%. It is so worth it. I would even go for, if I was in that space now, I would go for your membership, because it sounds so appealing, and it's so affordable as well, especially for young moms and for professionals. It's so appealing. So I would definitely go for it if I were you.
Thank you so much for that, and I promise you I didn't pay her, but thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on, giving it your time, busy life, busy entrepreneur, busy
anytime for you.
But thank you so much. And I just wanted to share, just as Dr. Tabs had just mentioned there, so if today's conversation resonated with you, then if you're a woman or a man, any gender is fine, you're a parent, you're a professional, you wanted to start your own business, you're also working full-time, whatever it is, I'm all about healing, wealth creation, and leadership, okay? But also do it with our faith, family, fitness, and it's all interfaith. So all faiths are welcome. So I'd love for you, and I'd invite you to explore the Legacy Leaders Circle. That's membership. It's only currently $47 per month, no contract, any time. And if you want to go for annual, which is $444, so just $444 per year, you also get a one-to-one private coaching day every quarter as well.
That's amazing.
Thank you. So you can jump in and you get like a bespoke healing audio and business plan. Like depends on from the one-to-one days, right? Like whatever it is that you're working on, you have a bespoke healing and leadership audio from that, an actual plan that'll have like all written up for you. So just come in, and you can also come into, with this month we're actually doing Heal and Release. That's our November program, and you'll get all of the others as well when you come in. And if you want to come in just for like a little taste, then just do 1 month, just do $47, no contract, nothing, and just trial it out. So comment down below leader and I'll be in touch. And Tabs, I just want to say thank you for sharing your heart.
You're most welcome, my love.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And
I wish all the viewers, sorry.
Thank you for trusting in me as well. Sorry.
Oh, always. Trust makes the world go round, doesn't it? But you know, you are such a gem. I've always have this trust in you. So thank you. That's all I wanted to say. And everyone watching, thank you so much for taking the time out to watch just me. But I truly believe in what Vidya has to offer. And if you are in that space like you were, in a really dark space, really, this is the way forward. Really, truly mean that. So good luck to everyone. I wish you all service and purpose. Take care.
Thank you so much. Love night, everybody, and I'll be in touch shortly. Thank you.